The PJ Fleck Show is presented by Window Concepts and Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union.
Our how is everything. How you do something matters. Culture, how, next time mentality. That better be first.
The PJ Fleck Show starts now.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the PJ Fleck Show. Joined as always by the head coach of Gopher football, PJ Fleck, alongside former Gophers wide receiver Ron Johnson, KFAN's Justin Gaard. I'm Pierre Noujaim. It was a tight, nail-biting back-and-forth affair between Minnesota and Rutgers, and in the end, the Gophers emerged victorious 31-28 over the Scarlet Knights to get back in the win column. PJ, boy, that was a fun game to watch. What was it like, though, to coach in that moment, high-pressure situation, with the way it turned out for you and your players?
Well, it's so funny because after a game, I get a bunch of text messages. Win or lose, right? Just has different vibes. But after this one, everybody's like, that was so much fun, wasn't it? It's not that fun for a coach. I mean, that's your job for 60 minutes, right? And over 3.5 hours to perform, find a way to score one more point than them. But it all came down to the ball. We had one takeaway, and we did not turn the ball over. And I think that was the difference in a Big Ten tight-knit game. Where we were down 14-0, should have been 17-0. When you look at it, could have been 17-0. But I was really proud of our players' response, and being down 14-0, 2 minutes later, we're tied 14-14. So it was all about the response all week. It was about playing with how, having response, and win the ball, the turnover battle, and we did all three of those things.
And Drake Lindsay was the Big Ten freshman of the week. And that second half, he came out on fire, went up-tempo, really commanded the offensive line. You could tell he was checking, making sure that the protection was correct. What did he show the country and the coaches with that, being able to command the offense the way he did in the second half?
I think he just showed us exactly what he's shown us in practice. He showed us what he's been able to do in high school. I think that throw shows what he's been able to do. JG and I were talking before the show that quarterbacks do two things. They can either throw to the person that's open or they can throw the person open. And I think Drake has this ability to throw people open. He anticipates really well. He's an elite processor, and he's very accurate. And when you put all those things together, you see a performance like this on Saturday.
And quarterbacks are also defined at times by what they do in the fourth quarter, right? And you get the ball back, you're trailing, he leads you down the field. What did you see from him in those moments to help you get the victory there?
Yeah, we talked about the word of the week was courage. I mean, that's exactly what he's about. He's a very skillful quarterback, but he also understands situational football. We preach to our quarterbacks, they got to be able to get us in the right run. They have to be able to win in 2 minutes and lead your team to victory or points at the end of the half, and you got to win on third down. And I think all three of those things Drake did at an elite level in this game. It was good enough for this game, and now we got to continue to change our best. And the one thing that's so fun about coaching him is he has complete control of the offense, complete command of the offense, and he's only going to keep getting better at it because he works so hard. Some people just think he's a freshman, he'll get better at it. Well, no, now that the margin for error is so small, and then the gains are going to be smaller as he keeps going through his career. The biggest jumps is when you just got to start your career, right? And now as we keep going through this, it's going to be the incremental small changes he makes that is going to be the world of difference for our team.
I want to stay on Drake for just a moment. We'll talk about your defense in just a second, but you mentioned something that kind of caught my ear there. The ability to throw a wide receiver open. Yep. Is that a trait that takes time, because he is young? I mean, is that the type of trait that really separates the men from the boys, yes, as they say at the position?
Yeah, 100%, especially at the NFL level. You see a lot of guys not able to transition for two reasons. One, they can't do it under the pressure of the situation in the moment. And two, they don't throw enough of the accurate, appropriate ball. Every ball has an appropriate ball. Every throw has an appropriate ball based on location, shape, distance. It's very difficult. Some people have a great arm, but they can't throw 50 different lobs. It's like having one wedge in your golf club, right? Just, I'm going to use the sand wedge, that's it. And hit all these shots where you have a 60 degree, you got a 62, you might have a 64. Now you got to count your clubs. You got to have the amount of right clubs when you go into a tournament. Found that out this summer. I had too many clubs in my bag.
It's 14, right?
Yeah, but I had like 30. I got a wedge for everything.
He gets
guys.
A lot of gifts.
Yeah. So it's literally that analogy where you have to have a wedge for almost every shot. It's that type of passing too, and he threw a lot of people open and did a really good job with it.
Yeah, defensively though, you saw the adjustments that were made at halftime. 21 points allowed in the first half, just 7 in the second half. 7 sacks on the day. You already mentioned the key turnover. What changed in the second half in terms of adjustments that were made in order for you guys to come out the way you did in the second half defensively?
Well, one, you got to give Rutgers credit because nobody was better in the country in the first 3 drives of efficiency of scoring points than Rutgers. And when you're talking about an efficient offense and you're talking about the opening plays, 10 to 14 plays that are scripted, nobody has been better in the first 4 to 5 games in Rutgers. So we knew that they were going to have it scripted. I thought Ethan made some really, really tough, accurate throws, really contested balls that they were able to make some plays on. But once we got, I think, through that 14 to 16 plays, I thought our guys had a really good feel, especially in the box. Coach Collins, our players, of what their game plan was going to be. Made some adjustments on offense. We were able to score 10 points right away out of halftime. We got a stop and a punt, got the ball in the second half. So not only did we catch up in the first half, we were able to, the first 4 of the second half, we were able to score almost 10 points. So I think that was a huge turning point for us. But I thought our guys settled down. We tackled better. We rallied to the football better. And we got to the quarterback a little bit more with some pressure.
And when you think about Drake Lindsay, he found 9 different receivers in that game, or receiving targets, but one of which, the deep ball, everybody saw it. I got a chance to talk to Jalen Smith about it, and he's like, yeah, I've been watching that over and over, and I probably should have went this way. And I'm like, every time I watch it, I'm like, that's a tough call, like whether you cut it back or not. But how good can he be, and how much of a vertical weapon is he? Because we've seen it, but I know there's more to come.
He has everything. He's got the underneath game, the short game, he's got the intermediate game, and he's got the deep game. And this is why I said at the beginning of the year, he's got a lot of Tyler Johnson and Rashad Bateman kind of combined. And I'm not saying that he is that yet, but he has a lot of those qualities. And I think you can see that in the first 4 games. The way we coach him on post, once you catch a post on that angle, if the DB's behind you, stay on the angle. Because the minute you straighten up, you allow a short corner for the person trailing you to sweep your ankle. So those are the little things he's going to keep learning as he goes forward. But this play with him and Drake, the ability to dot it, we call it dotting it, and they do it on their own, and they have the freedom to do that. And for Drake Lindsay to do that in that situation, in that moment, and for the freshman to freshman, for that to happen, they're light years ahead of a lot of people I've coached at this level from a quarterback and a wideout standpoint. You would hate being a wide receiver in this system because 9 other people caught a pass. Yeah. You would be so mad that you didn't have all the passes.
4 for 100 plus. I mean, you can't be mad at that. I would be like, you know what? 8 other guys got balls. Hey,
but
we're good.
This is the type of team we're going to have. When your best players are out, we had AJ out, Darius Taylor's out. Everybody has to step in and step up. And this is still a young and inexperienced team. They're gaining experience as they continue to go through there. But as we said before, we're getting a better player and a better talent by the years, and you can start to see that as we keep going forward. Even though we're playing a young team, they're still really good. So I was really proud of everybody being involved. Because again, it's not about Drake, it's about the supporting cast.
I have so many other follow-up Ron cheap shots, but we got to keep this train moving here, at least in the first segment, maybe block 3. Rutgers is driving to possibly tie. They try to win the game with a little deep shot there on the north sideline. Kerry Brown breaks it up. You live to see another day, and that day is the fumbled snap. So as that's happening, take us inside your head as the ball is flying by.
There it goes.
Man is here.
Well, this was like right when Anthony missed it, I'm like, he's going to throw it away. They're still going to be in field goal range, and he didn't. And then I was just hoping we would swarm to the ball, get him on the ground, which then forced Rutgers to make a decision, right? And they end up kicking the 56-yarder, which gets pushed to the right. That's just part of it. We've missed a field goal against North Carolina and some other opportunities to win games, and I guess that's the life of a kicker, right? And I'm just really proud of our players' resolve. The entire game, they kept hunting, they kept responding, and that Rutgers team is an older Rutgers team. There's a lot of juniors and seniors on that football team that's played a lot of football, so I thought our guys did a tremendous job of answering the bell.
Longtime Minnesota fans will remember the Vikings having that play against Russell Wilson in a playoff game. Do you remember this, Ron?
Yeah.
Captain Munnerling misses it. Russell Wilson makes a big play. Same exact spot on the field. I had flashbacks. Thankfully, it worked out better Saturday against Rutgers.
Thankfully so, no doubt about it. PJ, I got to ask you, it's one thing to talk about it the way you guys talk about the confidence you have in each other, the confidence that you have in this team, but to go out and execute it and to have your team see you able to have it come to fruition, what does that do for a team's mindset?
Well, it's trust, right? And trust comes down to 3 things: time, consistency, and proof. And the final one is the reason it's at the end is you need proof. You can have time, you can have consistency, that's fine. But then you have to actually go out there in live bullets. You got to go do it. Under the pressure of the situation, you got to do it. There's a difference between knowing and doing. You got to go do it and become it. And this is all part of earning those stripes as you continue to get better. This team's going to only continue to get better. It doesn't promise us we're going to win every game, but it gives us the best chance to do that. And this is a developmental team, like we're a developmental program. This team will just keep getting better, and that's what hopefully we can continue to do throughout the weeks.
And speaking of developmental, Carter Mins, been here for a while. Now you're getting to see him play. I mean, when he was on the field right away, I was standing next to Tommy Olsen, and he's like, man, that kid's got some size, and he does. Like, you watch him, and he gets his tackle for a loss. He makes a big play here. He's holding the edge. And again, playing within the scheme. But talk up a little bit about him and how, what's the future, what does his future look like?
Yeah, he's a Dakota kid, and which I consider somewhat in-state, right, when you kind of connect the Dakotas and Minnesota together. And, we need him to step in and step up. He's got a Carter Coughlin-type body, maybe a little bit longer, a little taller. He's a really young player in our system. And I'll be honest, like at the beginning of the year, we're like, all right, we put him on the field, and I was like, you got to go perform, you got to go do it. Like, now you got to put it all together. And this was the first game I thought showed flashes at Cal, but this game put it all together and showed what this kid can actually become. And he's just scratching the surface because he's got a lot of ability, a lot of length, a lot of twitch. And now he's just got to go out there and have opportunities.
Well, stay with us here on the PJ Fleck Show. When we come back, we'll be joined by another key member of the defense. Deven Eastern joins us on site. You don't want to miss that conversation. Coming up next on the PJ Fleck Show.
You're watching the PJ Fleck Show.
Welcome back to the PJ Fleck Show, everybody. Joined now by a very special guest, one of the anchors along the defensive line. Deven Eastern joins us on set. Now, Deven, we appreciate you taking the time. Thanks for being with us here on the PJ Fleck Show. Looking back at the Rutgers game, we were talking about it with PJ just a moment ago. You guys were able to flip the script pretty well in the second half, just 7 points allowed in that half. Walk us through the adjustments that were made and how you guys were able to kind of keep a lid on things in that second half.
I mean, yeah, the goal was to go out there and play 60 minutes of football, 60 minutes of violent football, and that's what we did. Going into halftime, going into halftime we had to pick it up and continue to play the full 60 minutes. And when we went out there, we did that, and it worked out well for us.
And when you look at the Havoc defense and you think about just all the multiple sets and knowing your job and doing your job and not somebody else's job, I know we haven't seen the full extent of it, but as a defensive lineman, how do you remind yourself, like, I got to do my job, I got to control my gap because I got to trust somebody else is going to do their job?
Well, for that, it's not about me, it's about my teammates. If I go out there and do whatever I can, give everything I got, I know my teammates are going to do the same, and I know we're going to be successful on defense. So just going out there with that mentality, that having mentality, that I'm going to put hands on the guy in front of me every single play for a full game.
And when you think about that, putting hands on the guy, getting the energy, like where does your mind go in order, like when the kickoff starts, to say I got to go out and do it? Because I play receiver, so I didn't have to be a brute force.
We all know, Ron.
Like I could listen to any music I wanted to. Like you guys got to go into a different mindset to just go against a 360-pound guy every week. Like how do you just put your mind in there and say I got to wreak havoc on this guy?
Yeah, I mean, it starts with the havoc, and it's a mentality. You play D-line here, you got to have the mentality. You got to have the how. You got to go out there and you got to compete. And that's what I do. I go out there and I give everything I got. I lean on my brothers. I lean on the guys next to me, and we get after it.
Walk me through what it was like in that post-game locker room. It was such a hard-fought game. You guys came out on top. What was it like in that locker room after the game, getting a win like that?
So fun. The moments like those are moments that I'm going to carry with me for the rest of my life. And it was a battle, and we celebrate every win the same way. So we got after it and we celebrated pretty good, yeah.
PJ, you've had Deven for a little bit of time now. How have you seen him grow and evolve as a player, a person? How important is he to this team?
Very important. I tell the NFL scouts, which I meet with an hour before we go out to practice every single day, and I tell them all the time, I said, maybe the greatest 180 row the boat story of all time is Deven Eastern. And the 13 years being a head football coach and having row the boat and having our culture and our program. I think, and I can say this to him because I've known him for a long time, I thought he came here as a boy, and I think he's leaving a man. And he's engaged, and Leilani and his fiance, and the type of man he's become is exceptional. That's what I'll take with me. Of course, he's a really good defensive tackle and a really good defensive lineman. He does an unbelievable job in community service, but talking about the type of person he's become, like that's why we do it at the end of the day. Win or lose, that's why we do it. And I'm really, really proud of him for that.
And when you watch the Ohio State film and, you got Jackson, you got Donaldson, you got Sand at quarterback, you got Jeremiah Smith at receiver, but at the end of the day, you got a job to do just like they do. How do you see yourself basically stopping the run, because that's the most important part, and then get to the quarterback so he doesn't have time to throw the ball?
Yeah, we know that they got a lot of good playmakers, but the expectation of how we play and how we practice doesn't come down. So moving forward into this week, it's about how can I get myself better as a player? How can I improve my techniques and my fundamentals? How can I do everything I can to go out on that field and be in the best shape and the best mindset before the game? And
when Coach comes in crowd surfing, do you ever feel like it's your job to catch him, or do you kind of leave that to the guy?
Depends on the week.
Just don't drop him. You might not, if you do that, you might not play next week.
Have you ever told him that? Like if he does something, like next time you're going to drop him?
Yeah.
Haven't been dropped just yet.
Thank goodness.
Sometimes, I'm held up a lot longer. Sometimes just thrown right to the ground.
Thank goodness for that.
Give him an extra throw in the air.
Getting higher, by the way. Yeah, definitely getting higher.
Yeah, just as long as you're not afraid of heights, I hope.
I'm not, but they're getting way stronger.
I know.
You hope that there's somebody there to catch you at the end of the day.
You hope so. Deven, when you look at Ohio State too, this is such a big opportunity for you guys and this team going into an environment like that. What do you feel like maybe you guys have to prove, if anything, going into this game?
That we can compete with any other team. That we're a really good team, and we got a lot of really good players as well. So just going by it by how the Havoc defense and and just proving to everybody that we can compete with anybody else.
And when you think about row the boat, I know I've heard a lot about it. I've been here for a while with PJ. But when you think about row the boat, like what is your moment of I can't give up here?
When I think about row the boat, I think about just keep moving forward. Good play, good day, bad day. Just keep moving forward. Life's not always going to be easy. There's going to be difficult times, but it's about how you respond to those difficult times and how you keep moving forward.
Certainly well said. Well, Deven, we certainly appreciate you taking the time. Best of luck, continued health and success the rest of the way. Thanks again for joining us here on the PJ Fleck Show.
Thank you.
When we come back, we'll talk a little more about this weekend's matchup as the Gophers hit the road to Columbus to take on the Buckeyes. What's it going to take to pull off a big win in Columbus? We'll discuss that next.
Welcome back to the PJ Fleck Show.
Welcome back to the PJ Fleck Show, everybody. Time now to focus a little bit more on this weekend's opponent as Minnesota travels to Columbus to take on #1 Ohio State. And PJ, it's not often that I want to start with the team's defense, but Ohio State's defense, boy, they are as good as it gets, only allowing 22 points combined in 4 games. Allow me to channel my inner Ron Johnson and bring up a movie reference. Ivan Drago looked unstoppable, but suddenly he got cut one moment when he got hit. How do you find the hit and the cut in this defense to give yourself a chance to win the game?
That was really good, by the way. That was
Thank
really
you.
good.
Thank you very much.
The attention to detail within the fundamentals, and I think
that was
our coach
Rocky,
has done a
Ron,
great
in case
job.
you were wondering.
Rocky IV.
Yeah, okay.
No, Creed. No,
You're talking about the original.
We'll get to that.
We'll go back to that.
Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to get Ron. Ron looked lost, so
It's
I
like
wanted
when people
to.
talk about the Karate Kid, and they think there was a new one.
No.
Like the actual Karate Kid
old.
with Mr. Miyagi.
Correct.
So the attention to detail within the fundamentals are going to be critical. I mean, we even heard Deven talk about the fundamentals. We talked this week we have to be razor sharp with our fundamentals. And then I think our coach has done a really good job with this game plan of highlighting our players' strengths and then letting them go out there and play fast. We're going to have to do that. I mean, Washington's a really good football team, and they had won 22 straight home games. And I know it was a one-score game going into the fourth quarter, but Ohio State dominated that game. And if you look at their defense, they've given up 5 points a game, as you said.
Yeah.
They scored 6. So if that's the average, that's above average. They're very good. They're relentless. They're very deep. They're experienced. I mean, they're everything that you want a defense to be. But we have a massive challenge ahead of us, and we know that. But we're only going to be better for it. And I know this. Our guys have had a great week of preparation already. They're very eager to get out there. I just think this team loves to play football. So the more we play football, the better we're going to get. But we do have a ton of respect for what Ohio State has done and who they are and defending national champions. But it's one game. And for 3 hours, you got to find a way to execute at a really high level. And I think anybody can do that. it is a massive challenge, but that's our whole mindset of the week, is find a way to execute at the highest level we possibly can for 3 hours.
Yeah, and to quote another movie, Any Given Sunday, Al Pacino once told Jamie Foxx, hey, just act like you're your mama's backyard and run to the Cadillac. That's what it seems like Ohio State does. When they need something to do, they just throw the ball to Jeremiah Smith. Like, it's whatever it is. It could be a smoke screen, could be a hitch. They just want to get the ball in his hands. So when you look at your defense, how do you mind those guys? They can't forget where number 4 is at.
Well, you can't forget where anybody's at. These are all Americans and 5-star players.
Yeah.
I mean, they're everywhere. They have 2 first-round picks coming up at wide receiver. They've got a first-round wide receiver. They've got running backs who will be drafted high. One of the best offensive lines we played against. Reminds me of the national championship Michigan offensive line. I know you're not supposed to talk about those 2 teams in the same sentence, but that's how dominating up front they've been. We have a huge task in front of us, but it's the small things. When you have something really big in front of you, and it looks really challenging, it's about the small detail things, doing those way better than you did before. Focus on those things, and all the other things will take care of themselves. If we don't do the little things right, the big things will just cave in on you. So we've got to do a really good job with the small things, and that's what we've been promoting and highlighting with our team this week.
There's one guy on this desk that knows what it's like to go into Ohio Stadium and get a victory. Oh, don't shake your head. You text me it every day. 25 years ago, Ron, I think you're coloring your beard because that was a long time ago. But what advice would you give for PJ or the group as a guy who knows what it's like to go in there? I think they were ranked number 2 at the time.
He already told me. He gave me the Al Pacino pregame speech with heading to the Cadillac.
I hope there was more to it than that. I hope there was more.
I'm talking to you. Oh, I thought you asked PJ was this speech.
Well, you guys talk it out. We got 30 seconds.
Honestly, we didn't have social media, so we didn't know how good they were, to be honest. Like,
well, that's not helpful at all.
We didn't have computers. We didn't have. But I will say, like, when we went out there, it was that guy's in front of you. Like, beat them. That's it. Like, it's football. They get paid just like we get paid.
How much were you getting paid back then?
It doesn't matter anymore.
In 2000.
It doesn't matter anymore.
Sorry,
I had a job. I had a legal job.
Football, movie reference.
We got a scholarship. That was our
and maybe
payment.
some money.
Class
and who knows what else we'll
paid for.
talk about next week on the PJ Fleck Show. Join us this Saturday for the Gopher pregame show, everybody.